So guys, we got the Grand Slam finals, the fourth official ones. The first winner was CL. The second winner was Badass. The third winner was Logok, the one with the W. And here we've got Bouffalant versus Mazar. Mazar is a German player who came out of nowhere to dominate the slam. We're starting these finals off with YuYu. I think they're excluding Little Cup, which is great because I don't like Little Cup. And I also know the least about it, except that Scarf Ponder is fucking overpowered. Anyway, so we see Sceptile versus Azelf, so this is good for Boof. Sceptile was a great lead choice, considering it threatens kind of everything on Mazar's team. And I don't think he would have really minded facing a lead Infernape that Sceptile kind of threatens anyway, with Gyarados and Florges at full health, not to mention even Entei. So Sceptile's a great lead there. He Giga Drains the Azelf. He's faster to start with, and then gets HP Iced on the first turn. Okay, so maybe not so great after all. The 4x weakness upon Mega Evolving bites him in the ass, and he loses the tile. He loses the poke that checks Crawdaunt by virtue of 4x resisting Aqua Jet. Although Mazar's Extreme Speed resist is Lucario, so he can just deny Stealth Rock that way, and he doesn't really want to switch into a banned Extreme Speed from Entei. So, not the worst deal in the world. I was kind of hoping for Scarf Crook because I like Scarf Pursuit and I really like Scarf Knockoff. Especially on the same set when they're stat young. So, Salamence I would assume is Moxie. It could be either thing. His team is so frail that he might have Intimidate just to be able to set up on more shit, but Moxie is strong. Boof's Florges kind of handles... It's not as good as I initially expected. It only really handles Salamence, but nothing really likes to switch into the Moonblast, so if Florges comes in on Mence... Well, it could also be Iron Tail Mence. Very well might be, actually, with DD. So, we see E-Speed for free here, and Entei is also kind of threatening. Oh, he goes to Lucario on the E-Speed. It's pretty much 3 KO'd, especially because it's going to take Life Orb damage. So, but he's also got the hard counter in Gyarados. I'm thinking Rest Talk Gyarados just because I see it with the Fortress, although DD Gyara has been used with Fortress tons and tons of times in DPP, so it's just that it's the more classic pairing. But often Gyarados does a fine job of checking Luke 2 unless it's like Thunder Punch or Storms or something. God, I bet Mazar switches to Azelf here. No, he just Swords Dances as Boof goes to Fortress on Lucario when he's got Gyarados. I mean, he might be saving it for Ape or something, but that's really weird to me. Yeah, so since there's 6 tiers in the Grand Slam, then the higher seed drops 1. So Fortress into Lucario is not a switch I've ever seen work. I mean, with Sturdy, he's going to live a hit, but what's he going to do back? Set up rocks? Setting up rocks and then Volt Switching or something, I guess would be good, but I think he should probably Crunch first, or Extreme Speed or Iron Tail or whatever, to break Sturdy so he doesn't get defense dropped from Volt Switching. Which would, because if he defense drops and gets Volt Switched on, then Entei, he's in range for Entei's Extreme Speed. No, he just closed combats. That does nothing. Is that not Life Orb? That is not Life Orb. He Volt Switches and now it's an Entei range. So now Entei, I mean, Feraligatr has decent bulk, Mence has decent bulk and Intimidate, but now Entei kind of spams Extreme Speed. And it's kind of funny because, well, if it's Adamant Entei and Jolly Lucario, then Luke can beat it to the E-Speed. Otherwise, it's all Entei. So, and Entei also has, I think, no, it's physical defense is the bad one. So here comes Crocodile, which can outrun even Jolly Luke. It won't like the +1 E-Speed, but it's something, and he gets to Earthquake. Part of me wants to say use Stealth Rock, just limit the Salamence as much as you can, and limit the other guys, you know, just because you're finishing this game off with Entei's Extreme Speeds. You need all the residual you can get. I would definitely, in fact, I would even have considered spiking there with Fortress, because he close combats twice, and then you're going to Crocodile anyway. So why not just get a spike off? So I mean, I'm ripping on Boof already, but he has a penchant for messing up a lot. So I suppose it's not all that surprising that he did not think that one through all the way. I mean, if you're going to Crocodile afterwards, then do you really need the extra damage via Volt Switch? You didn't. You could have spiked. So I still think rocks are the move here. Plus, he might go to Azelf, and that would be a whole mess. Although it's not bad because you knock off and then you threaten. Although Ape comes in after with rocks up, and that's something you want to avoid. I mean, he's got Florges, but no, he's extreme speeding God. If he set up rocks, no, he knocked off, and that. Oh, it's Sash Luke. Never something I've been a fan of. I know it was a thing in Diamond and Pearl when people were like, "Dude, Sash on everything." Wild. That's cool. So he kills it, since it's not 4 times resistant to dark anymore, so he covered the Azel switch, so that was nice on Boof's end. Extreme would not have 2 KO. It would have been really nice to see rocks there. Maybe Fortress has rocks. I mean, that's weird, just stealth rock for it, but it's possible, I suppose. We don't know anything about this Crook set. It could be Scarfed, very well could be. And so maybe that's another reason. I mean, knocking off to cover Azel switch is nice anyway, but that very well could be. It could be better if he's Scarf, so he can just stay in and threaten it. Although Crawdon's coming in here, or Infernape. Infernape is good whether it's regular or Scarf Crawdon. Whereas Crawdon trying to SD or something on a non-Scarf Crawdon, or non-Scarf Crocodile, then would be bad. I think I've messed up Crocodile and Crawdon once or twice. Anyway. So, Mazar's got 60 seconds on the clock already. This is not looking... Okay, Azel. Now, Scarf. I mean, his team is slow as fuck. I think Scarf Crook would be a good call here. I don't really approve of Scarf Rocks or Rocks Fortress, but it'll work. They both get rocks, and now Azelf explodes and takes Crook with it, but, you know, for Mazar, I will... I mean, Fortress is not spinning, okay? So, that's a thing. But, I think Boof takes the rocks. Although, they really, really hinder Gara and Entei. And he probably would have liked the spikes, too. You know, the game is extreme speed finishing shit off. Oh, man, if he just switched that into Explosion... No, he switched it into HP Ice. Nice move. He didn't have to explode there. So, good thinking on Boof's end. If this is a Wish Protect, then he can block Explosion. I assume they run Explosion. No, he taunted, he moon... Oh, he wished. Okay, of all the moves to use there, why was Wish one of them? I mean, you Protect or you Moonblast. Wish, I really don't know. Oh, he doesn't have Explosion, so Boof lucked out there. But if he did... And I suppose Flamethrower is kind of needed on itself. But Explosion kind of spin blocks Fortress anyway, and then your team should be offensive enough to prevent it from getting the spin in. But that was weird. Like, if he had Explode, then that was just so not good. So I think we see for Alligator here, since the others all kind of get annoyed by Moonblast. I wouldn't want to set up for Alligator on Florges, for example. There's Infernape. Infernape versus Florges. I mean, I can sort of see it, because it's neutral to Moonblast. And Fire Blast kind of hits it hard, or like Flare Blitz if he Swords Dance. So I guess that is a good way of punching a hole. Although I think he just Moonblasts, and then switches if he Sword Dances, and then switches to Fortress and finishes it off with Entei Extreme Speed. With this in mind, Mazar should definitely just attack it. And hell, half of me wants to say just go to Fortress right away, because attacking Florges is clearly the better move. Because then he can just preserve it for the Mets, because he knows he cannot... I mean, denting fucking Florges for Ments, and even Gator is just nice. Ments more so. But denting... Yep, he goes to Fortress. No, he nasty plotted. Okay. So, same thing as Swords Dance. +2 Grass Knot will kill Entei after, will kill Gera after rocks. Of course, if he gets the spin-off, well, I'm just assuming defensive Gera. I used to run it careful Gyarados with 64 special defense EVs and DPP to always live 2 grass knots after rocks, and plus 2 grass knot after rocks, same thing, more or less. And but I don't think he's running quite that Gera, so he's probably going to be forced into a game of, oh, he just went Vacuum Wave. He's also not fucking Life Orb, so that helps Gera a lot, actually. And that would make me more confident in setting it in. There's Gera. Of course, losing Intimidate will suck for Feraligatr, like, big time, but Grass Knot just barely, that's, well, it is offensive Gera, so that makes sense. So, down goes that, and so just he really counted on himself to get rid of those guys. So, Taunt Gera would be superb here, or maybe Bounce, because if he just Aqua Jets, well, I mean, it's still a fucking threat, because he hammers Florges, and that's really bad considering Mence. No, he just Aqua Jets. Also not Life Orb. Dude, he does not run Life Orb on any of his pokes. So I guess he could just, now his best move is clearly Florges. And it's going to be whether he Moonblasts on SD or Wish Protect stuff on Crabhammer. So no Life Orb, he's just going all in with the sashes, and I mean they're not really useful considering rocks went up, but they are useful in that he's not Life Orb and he's harder to wear down with recoil, especially because Entei's extreme speed is ever looming. I'm assuming it's choice banded. So what he could do is go to Crook and get the Intimidate off. And maybe even go to Florges on Aqua Jet, because that will do so little, and preserve the Intimidate. So that's a thought. Although he could very well just Earthquake or just Swords Dance on Crook, but then Entei revenges it. But then Gator and Mence come in, and I mean, this is ideally what heavy offense looks like. Just so threatening, always, all the time. So. Some people, I think Crawdon was almost banned from YuYu for being too strong. Recently, Boof with 90 on the clock. There's Crook. I don't really think we're going to see fucking superpower. So, Aqua Jet does take it out. Oh, he gets a crit. I don't think that mattered. Unless Boof seems to be upset about that, so, but somehow, I mean, -1, okay, but it's adaptability Crawdon, which has a ton of fucking attack. Well, I guess he can Wish kinda safely here, but yeah, just Aqua Jet at that point, I don't think Crook is nearly bulky enough to do that. Maybe if he was a bulky, I keep saying Crawdon, maybe if he was a bulky Crocodile, but he very clearly was not. So, oh, he just Moonblasts on Crabhammer. I guess that's, see, look at how much that still does. So now Feraligatr's gonna win the game. That fucking did a lot, and then he could have SD'd on Wish. So, yeah, who knows? I think it was kind of clear that he is seeing the damage. It was kind of apparent that he was not going to use. What's it called? SD on that turn, so I think Boof should have wished and then gone for the Wish Protect thing. Although Gator at this point looks so threatening that I don't know if he could have gotten around it. So, here's game 2. Here's Ubers. Yeah, I did watch The Shining like a week and a half ago. It's 2 weeks by now. And, yeah, I didn't know Here's Johnny was from that. I thought it was from Johnny Bravo, which I did love as a child. Anyway, so Boof is using a team that looks like it was made by Horus Uber's god, creator, legend himself, Lord Outrage. And I remember he got kicked out of Slam for ghosting against Steel Phoenix's opponents and giving teams, or some other shit. But he then threw a fit, and he won his round 4 battles anyway, just to prove that I own this tier, was his were his parting words. And I remember one of the games he had a Flygon. Other than that, it looked like standard fare. So Ho versus Arceus Water. We probably see a switch. A lot of these games and Ubers come down to Toxic, and he was really aiming for the... Dude, did you guys see that Sacred Fire animation? Holy crapola shit. And it gets burned, but... yeah. Even Boop is like, wow, nice animation. Shame we didn't get to see Entei Sacred Fire last game. So yeah, a lot of Ubers games come down to Toxic Stall, and as they use to break through each other, since Primal Groudon, you know, can't be touched by Arceus Water otherwise. And are we going to see a Wimpy recover, or yeah, we are. So I think it's you guys might remember Boof versus that dude, level 56 in the Uber's Open Finals, and I think it's really funny when people try to block Stealth Rock from Primal fucking Groudon with Mega Sableye. That's hilarious. However, Flygon is chosen for its ability to defog on this Pokemon, and if Mazar has Dragon Tail or Dragon Claw, he doesn't want to do it yet. He would prefer to hit it on the switch rather than take... okay, nice move if you roosted. What the fuck are you doing, Boof? Ugh. I hate my job sometimes. This is my job, I'm kidding, I don't get paid. Maybe one day, once I upload more Heat for Heaters. But, this is painful. So now, I mean, yeah, Groudon would prefer to Lava Plume Flygon on the Switch or some shit. But I guess he expected Groudon to come back in on Arceus Water and was trying to Toxic that. But, my god, I mean, roosting on Ho-Oh was not a bad move, even if it kind of risked in their Sacred Fire burn. But that move, at least, was extremely unlikely to happen. Ho-Oh is damn near killing itself here, since its Life Orb and Toxic, and... oh, it died! Okay, so Boof killed the Ho-Oh. It only took nearly the life of 2 of his Pokemon. So, Flygon is a thing, so I'm glad we're seeing some crispy innovations, as the Hito Burrito kids say. And so it does defog. I mean, it's not defogging anymore, unless he comes in on a double. But Groudon can come in here and threaten, so that is not cool. So that's pretty much the switch in, I think. I don't think anything else would want to take... well, they usually don't run Will-O-Wisp anymore. I think they might run Judgment, Dual Status, Recover, sometimes Defog, but since he's got Flygon, I would say Calm Mind or Dual Status is more likely. Although, trying to sweep with a Mono Water dude in a Primal Groudon metagame is... Anyway, we do see 2 Primal Groudons, actually, as is expected. It has, like, I think it has more usage than ADV Tyranitar, which is kind of insane. So, Flygon does... so yeah, he would prefer to Dragon Tail or Dragon Claw on the Switch rather than risk Earthquake, even though Primal Groudon isn't really hard... well, it counters the shit out of Klefki, so that's that. And Klefki does kind of annoy his team otherwise, so he doesn't want to take the Earthquake. So he doesn't have any Wish Passing either. A lot of teams Wish Pass Blissey to Primal Groudon. Mazar with 150 on the clock. So, Flygon is faster, I would assume. I mean, it's clearly got a hell of a lot of bulk. Oh, he's going Yveltal. He can, well, he can't stop himself from being, it could be Scarf Yveltal. That's a thought. Although, I have a feeling if it was Scarf, he probably would have gone to it already. Here's Klefki. There's Dark Pulse, again with a sick animation. Showdown has really been stepping up their animations lately. So Klefki's in, and Diancie is on Mega, so we see spikes going down, and with Defog, Arceus, or Giratina, they're going to stay down for a bit. So it is Life Orb of Yveltal. I was going to say, unless it's Scarf, he can't prevent Recover for a turn or 2 either, but with Preserves Arceus, I guess he'll try to recover. He's not really... the most he's going to do is threaten out Diancie, because he is faster and has a super effective step. Oh boy! Oh! Nice move, actually. Very nice. Yveltal did get Heat Wave in the transition from XY to Oris, and it makes for a fine Klefki lure. And Boof scouts it very well. So, Yveltal versus Ho is still not an ideal matchup. God, look at them just flapping their fucking wings. It's just so majestic. I am not worthy of this gorgeous sight of primal nature. And, yeah, because foul play fucking stings. But, and Veltal, Ho could at least take one and Sacred Fire it and regen out. I don't know what else he would really switch into this combination of Dark plus Fire. So, somehow though, I don't see Life Orb of Veltal running foul play. It just doesn't strike me as likely. I would see like Oblivion Wing, Dark Pulse, Sucker Punch, Heat Wave, maybe knock off over Dark Pulse, but as we saw the Dark Pulse, I think it's unlikely we see knock as well. Oh, we see Brave Bird that chunks the opposing Arceus Water, so we've got 2 Arceus Waters, and so we could see Klefki to threaten Toxic and lay down Spike, which, you know, helps chip Primal Groudon and Arceus itself and Diancie. Veltal and Giratina don't really care about it, but Veltal at least hates rocks. There's Klefki threatening with Toxic. Nothing is immune to Toxic. Something is Toxic here. And, in fact, I think that's better than Spikes at this point. He could go to Primal Groudon, considering if Mazar stays in, he just Judgments. Unless he predicts a switch in Toxics, and I think that turn actually happened in Uber Open. Arceus Water trying to Toxic Klefki, trying to catch Primal Groudon, but he caught Klefki instead. And he does get Toxic. Now, unless it's Heal Bell Diancie, which I think Hack ran on a team, then it's very, very possible that that Toxic stays. Although Heal Bell Diancie, that's probably part of its niche, and I don't think it really uses HP Fire too much. It could, well, no, it needs Earth Power for Primal Groudon and Klefki, and HP Fire is kind of not good. So, but that's still 3 moves plus Protect, and as anyone who has ever used a non-Protect Diancie knows, getting Diancie to Mega Evolve is a pain in the dick hole without it. So we see Ho come into Primal Groudon, and he catches a Veltal doubling in, so that was nice. Maybe he really can't touch Flygon at all. Although, I think no matter what, Boof is going to be hesitant to switch it in there. As we see another Brave Bird getting a higher roll on Arceus this time, so he's only going to recover to 83. And Ho is ridiculous. I mean, really. So he was scouting for Lava Plume on Flygon, so Boof is stepping it up. I mean, maybe it takes the guy a while to get in gear, but he's on fire right now. Don't stop him. Maybe the Flygon nonsense was the kick in the ass he needed. Maybe it was a bit too early. And maybe he thought, I mean, most people would say it's a bit too early to be doubling like that, but I like to say there's no such thing, but depending if you know your opponent. So, Boof just expected the double, and it didn't pay out, and now he's struggling around the the Primal Groudon. I mean, he switched Ho-Oh into it, but if it's defensive, then its odds of having Stone Edge kind of go down. And if he gets in before rocks, then, you know, and he can always get the defog off. He's faster than a Veltal, and faster than Klefki, or Diancie pre-Mega. Although Diancie does stop defog with Protect. Wow! He switches Flygon in to a possible Judgment, and he catches the fucking Primal Groudon. That is nasty. And he gets his Roost off. So, whew, very, very nice. That could have gone horribly, horribly wrong, but it didn't. So, oh, he's running Shiny Flygon too. I always use Shiny Flygon, except in Advance sometimes. But otherwise, gotta be Shiny. It's one of the few pokes that I always insist are Shiny. And, I mean, it might be acceptable in Black and White and XY. Probably not Black and White, but in DBP, I will never, ever use a non-Shiny Flygon. It's just essential. Anyway, Klefki comes into Dark Pulse, whittling away at Yveltal. Oh, I forgot when listing Yveltal's moves earlier that Roost is a possibility. But yeah, Dark Pulse does kind of a chunk, because Yveltal has another Life Orb on top of its Life Orb in Dark Aura. So now he can go to, maybe he was checking for a double to scout for Ho-Oh into Diancie or something. No, he goes for T-Wave. That was kind of weird. I would have just spiked there, honestly. Well, no, I guess he was trying to cripple Yveltal with T-Wave, so that's fair. That he just switched to Groudon there. I guess Groudon was going to counter Klefki and I suppose do okay against Ho-Oh. And this is why Toxic is important, because Stealth Rock does out PP Defog. So, but if you land a Toxic on the Rocks dude, then he can't do it forever, especially with the lack of leftovers. So that's what we're going to see here, because even if he stays in and, you know, Lava Plumes or something, then he's still losing the HP. So Flygon doing its thing is very, very cool to see. I always like seeing underrated shit do big things in big games. Groudon switches, here comes a Veltal. Defog. Maybe he's trying to make sure Ho doesn't get knocked off or something, but since... No, I guess not. Dark Pulse is doing... God damn, that does so fucking much. Jesus. Because remember, Ho has Titanic HP and a lot of special defense. So... Well, at least the evasion drop means that Sacred Fire can't possibly miss now. So... Wow, that fucking stung. I think he goes for Sacred Fire here, because he would like to burn the Arceus water and just put more residual on it. I'm wondering when he's going to Mega Evolve his Sableye, because that can also bounce back Toxics against the Arceus water. But it's not really looking too useful in this game in general. I mean, it doesn't really help check anything. Ho can afford to take a flinch, because it can just regen out. And that's part of why Ho-Oh and a lot of regen pokes are just insane without rocks in the field. So, Nope, he's going to Klefki. He's not risking... Oh, Sucker Punch. That's a good move. Boof's end. Good move on Mazar's end, too, because he didn't have to flinch, and Sucker Punch does a lot more. Or, I don't know about a lot more. I think Veltal has equal attack and special attack, but Ho has significantly worse defense, so nice move there. And it's the same base power. Of course, Veltal probably has a little bit more special attack investment considering its primary moves in Dark Pulse and Heat Wave are specially based, but it was still a nice thought. And Boof avoids that by going to Klefki and to take another Dark Pulse. He's just wearing away at it. He goes for another T-Wave. I guess Heat Wave would probably be a roll to kill. I think it would be like a really, really high roll to kill. We see a double to Diancie on the Flygon, so we're going to see one Pogue Mega Evolve. Although the threat of Earthquake means that I would like to see an Earth Power here. And Diancie is threatening as hell to Boof's team with Arceus Water so low, so if he doesn't want to risk Groudon getting Earth Power to death, then if I'm Boof, I'd probably go to Sableye and sack it. I'm not sure what he would... Yeah, Diancie is threatening as fuck. He goes to Groudon. He's shiny. Shiny Primal Groudon is pretty great. We see just a straight-up Moonblast, and he crits, which might... If it's got Spadef, then I don't think it'll die to Earth Power, but remember, Diancie is really, really strong. So, and remember, Diancie would die to Earthquake upon Mega Evolving. So, maybe it was wiser. Holy fuck, is it starting to snow? Dude. Oh my god, finally. We have had no snow so far. This is great. That aside... Yeah, I'm right at my window, so it's pretty sick. Try to remind myself that civilization exists. Oh! Well, that's something. I was going to say it might be worth waiting to Mega Evolve so he can tank the... Well, Flygon probably wouldn't die to regular Diancie Moonblast anyway. This is a problem. For sure. Since now he Earth Powers away, he can Moonblast away, so this is trouble. He's probably going to sacrifice Sableye and chase it out with Arceus Water. But now it's definitely going to be a guessing game. Boof is going to have to rely on... Oh, Lava Plume. That... No burn! I guess he really wants that Sableye for Giratina or something. Well, he doesn't really need Groudon, so that was fair. In fact, this is really easy to say now, but I am tempted to say that he might have wanted to Lava Plume right away. I mean, it's really easy, but like, if Veltal came in and you catch that, on the off chance, because he was not staying in and just earth powering. That much is pretty apparent. You could have hit Giratina, you could have hit Yveltal, and in this scenario you would have had 2 chances to burn him, and you would have hit him a lot harder. It's easy to say now, but anyway, Klefki comes in to chase it out with the threat of Flash Cannon. And yeah, so I don't know why he's not recovering with Arceus Water. Maybe it's slow. Slow Arceus is the worst thing. I mean, if you ever played GSC, then you know half the reason Raikou and Suicune are great walls is because they are fast. I mean, Suicune ties with Nidoking, outruns the fuck out of Marowak and Machamp and T-Tar and Christ, like a lot of shit. So, yeah, that's, no, he play roughs. So, there goes that. I guess the threat of Flash Cannon for Xerneas and shit did not really exist. The threat existed. The Flash Cannon itself did not. So, yeah, but so I think bulking out Arceus might make it good against like Rayquazas and shit, like Titanic attackers, but part of what helps it check so much shit is speed. Now, if this is one of those stabless Arceus waters, then maybe I understand, but I don't know why you wouldn't go to it in the first place. So, Ho dies, Flygon dies, Sableye dies, and the score is suddenly 5-4. So, what is he doing? Hoping for a Diamond Storm miss. That Arceus water must be slower. Diamond Storm has like 95 accuracy, but it just drops. So, I guess he is running slow Arceus after all. What a shame. And Boof forfeits 2-0 Mazar. Boof has to win the next 3 games, or the Grand Slam trophy goes to the German. Alright, here's RU. I quite like RU. It's pretty cool. It's not as good as Black and White RU, but it's still pretty cool. And as soon as I said it started snowing, it started to not snow, but it's coming back. It's trickling, but it's something. I have high hopes. Ah, man, I remember when it was snowing on like November 29th and shit. That was great. Anyway, so one sec, I gotta check. There we go. Okay, so we see another Flygon on Boof's end. Flygon is better here, but I thought it was nice that it did something. Of course, Diancie was too strong. I remember when I first started playing Oris, it was like right when Oris came out, and I thought it was fun. And Diancie just fucking killed everything. It's got such a great speed tier. So we see Escav, Emboar, Tangrowth. So we got like some bulky offense balance. I don't really like Mazar's team. I mean, I'm not a great RU judge or anything, but I just sort of prefer Boof's. It's got spikes, which I always think are great in lower tiers. But I mean, I'm sure Mazar's team has some synergy. So in the first Grand Slam, CL was down, or CLE was down 0-2 to Nelson X, Uni, whatever, and then he came back and won the next 3. So will Boof follow in his footsteps? Boof was a ruiner last year too. Anyway, Durant versus Tangrowth, good lead matchup. Tangrowth wants to get the hell out of here. Not only does CB hustle X Scissor fucking slam it, despite Tangrowth's monstrous physical bulk. I mean, it countered Excadrill in the Excadrill days in Black and White. It could also do things like Subpass, and Tangrowth does not want any of that, unless it's like a HP Fire, but I think it's the wrong time to pop it on turn 1. So, plus you could just, switch to Emboar, because, well, Emboar is, I meant it for Boof, but Emboar is a good Durant switch as well. So, I'm trying to think of optimal moves here, and I think, depends on what the set is, but, yeah, you just Baton Pass, because you just go to Emboar here if Tangrowth stays in, it gets cute. And, no, that Diancie is not Mega, I know that now. Last SPL, I was wondering if Mega Diancie was in YuYu. So, the Agony Baton passes out into the Pain. I'm just thinking of angsty names. The Shooting Star, okay. There's Specs Focus Blast, good god. Okay, so he's not as defensive. Now that makes me like the team a little more. He's got more pressure, because I don't like really defensive pokes on offensive teams a lot. But no, he's bringing it. And Uxie doesn't really count. Uxie, I love Uxie. It's so great. Anyway, so Embor's in, and it runs Reckless, I believe, so no chances for a Blaze boosted Fire Blast. Flare Blitz, but the resist is Rhyperior, so it wouldn't make much of a difference. Sharpedo doesn't count, it gets rolled over by, like, tackles. Embor switches in, and into itself, probably not too well. Of course, there is the issue that the fire and fighting things, the things that resist fighting, aka Uxie, probably get hammered by Flare Blitz, and he probably would like Uxie healthy for, like, Gallade. So I don't think Uxie's coming in. And thus I think Boof should just throw out the fighting move. Or whatever it may be. I don't know. I think they run Superpower. So Tangrowth should definitely not stay in. I'm wondering if he can bring Embor back in on something later. I'm assuming it's Choice Band, but Scarf thing is a thing. So he makes a nice double, very nice double. Instead of using a fighting move and risking hitting the wrong thing, he just goes to Gallade. Well, I guess hitting Rhyperior with Stab Superpower is kind of good, but I mean he chases it out with Gallade, and now he forces in Uxie for knockoff action. Now he gets a free knockoff. Or he can just close combat if he thinks Mazar is going to get cheeky and Stealth Rock. But with an Uxie on the team, I kind of don't think Rhyperior is going to be a Stealth Rock dude. And thus, since Rhyperior doesn't really check much very well on that team, I think that he just stays in an Earthquakes here. Thus, I think it may be better for Flygon to switch in. Oh, he bulks up! Yeah, he does switch in. That's Life Orb. I was going to say Banned. But Drain Punch is going to heal back a metric fuckload. Now, Uxie can be faster than Gallade, and it would be kind of funny to see it switch in. But Gallade also got great Spadef, so Drain Punch is risk-free here, and will probably take it out of range for a second one. Because, I mean, Solid Rock and all, but Gallade is also kind of fucking strong. So Mazar's team hits really, really hard. Like, defensive Rhyperior is cool and all because it tanks so much shit. But offensive, I mean, it's got, like, I think it's got, not Groudon attack, but close to it. As, Boof with, Kurt, fuck me. I remember when that was used in, fuck, what was it used in? Game of Thrones. Tyrion was like, well, fuck me. And, I thought that was great. I like Game of Thrones when it just, you know, they use modern terms in this medieval setting, and it's a very nice mix of history and all that. As Sam gives Boof a focus, young Boof, and Boof cries instead. He gives the crying face. You're never gonna win if you cry in the middle of the battle. On turn 4, oh, come on. Let's see. I mean, what's there to think about? The only thing to think about is Mazar's choice of switch-in. He probably just lets Rhyperior tank one and try to kill it. So... wonder if that's Bulk Up Will-O-Wisp Gallade. I always thought that was a cute set to run, but turns out Bulk Up Will-O-Wisp Wish is illegal. Like, really? But Will-O-Wisp Gallade is kind of cute in DPP. Like, you burn guys like Hippo and Pert and Gliscor. And Nidoqueen. Although Burn Nidoqueen tends to do its job anyway, so... in fact, I take burns with Nidoqueen all the time, and I'm like, thank you. Anyway, so Boof finally puts the timer on. I don't know why timer isn't automatic on Smog Tours. It really should be. No, he switches to Flygon on the second one. I guess he did the calcs and he realized, alright, well, Boof, stay in the game, man. I don't really have a preference on who wins. Maybe Boof, because I'm a true patriot and I root for Americans. But I just want the games to be competitive. So, now the timer's on, so this will take less fucking years. So this really depends on what Flygon set is. I know Windsong used a special Stabs, Defog, Roost, Life Orb set, which I quite liked. Rhyperior does not want to take that. He could probably pivot to Quillfish for Intimidate to check for Ice Punch. And the Flygon switch appears to be Tangrowth or Uxie. And he can get some spikes down, and spikes are good. Yes, I mean spikes are good, but they're good because they hit everything except Uxie, and you know, wearing things down, especially with a regen dude, you want that. So I think Quillfish should be the move here. And if Mazar Earthquakes, then I mean, okay, it'll kill it, but you just give him his props on that one, because that's kind of a weird move to make. No, there's Uxie. I guess Quillfish, he's U-turn, so that's even better, because he could have just gone to Quillfish to check for Ice Punch. Of course, there's another reason to not Ice Punch, because it probably just uses U-turn. That's probably Scarf damage. I hope it's Adamant. Adamant Scarf, I mean, there's probably a good reason for running Jolly and YuYu. Or RU. Probably not, really. Adamant Flygon is just good. So here comes Duran to just fire off an X-Scissor. He probably wants Rocks at some point. And Rocks, I think, will be more useful to Mazar, to Boof than Mazar. Considering, I mean, he just wants all the residual damage he can get. He can stack out spikes. I mean, Rocks are good for both parties, but nope, here's Durant. That is a, could that be a Scarf Uxie? It's Scarf or Resist Berry. Maybe Lum, in case people use like Smeargle lead still. That used to be the thing in Black and White RU. No, he goes to Embor, X-Scissor misses. It would have done nothing, but I think that move was way too obvious. I mean, like, you can't just let him come in for free with all this shit. I mean, Diance's pretty bulky, so it can probably switch it and get a Brox. And there's also Quillfish, so there's that. But I just don't think using... Because even if it stays in, then you Baton Pass out and you go to Diance and you get up your own rock, so you've accomplished something. And just aimlessly, firing off stabs is how people lose. So, Flygon's in. He gets his Tangrowth, which isn't bad, since he can U-turn. It is Specs, but, any damage is good. But, if he gets the right move, then he's losing something. There's no downside, really, to using Giga Drain, because Tangrowth has a lot of special attack. Durant has, like, 0 special defense. Oh, wow, he crit him, so that helps a little. But Diancie dies, Quillfish will die to 2, Embor's too weak, Gallade's too weak, Durant has 0 Spit F. I wonder who will make the sacrifice. He needs Rocks. See, all this switching around, he needs Rocks. He should go to, he should sack Embor, go to Durant, Baton Pass out. Well, it depends on what move he locks himself into, but surely it's Giga Drain. So, Tangrowth was a nice move there, considering that the thing switching into Embor is most likely a Quillfish. Oh, he Leaf Storms. I guess he really wanted to, slam that Durant's face in. But now he goes to Durant and Baton Passes. I know it's Baton, but I used to call it Baton Pass. He could probably spike up with Quill here. I mean, no, he shouldn't. That's a bad idea, but he needs to get the hazards as soon as possible. So, well, Durant and Baton Pass, I mean, surely Mazar doesn't let the Tangrowth take the X-Scissor from, that would just be a waste of Tangrowth, because Boof has just tunnel visioned against it before, so he just switches to Rhyperior, not Rhyperior, Embor, and their Boof Baton Passes out and goes to Quillfish, gets some Spike. He could even, if he was afraid of Wild Charge, he can even go to Diancie to get Wild Charge, to take Wild Charge and get a Brox. He might even want to go to Diancie straight up, because Brox will also hit Uxie. So there's Durant, so he better Baton Pass. And the reason I was thinking Quillfish could set up was because it has Pain Split, but still, in that case, U-turn probably works a little against him with a crit, because he would get the Pain Split less back, but minor things. And the way he's going to switch out here, Boof will take all the damage he can get, even though 2 switch-ins and it's all gone. Regen is really strong. Anyway, so Baton Pass here, surely. I mean, I could see Mazar staying in, but at the same time, it's just a waste. You just don't do it at this point, when you've got such an advantage. I mean, trying to get fancy. I mean, there's something to be said for stepping on a guy's comeback attempt, and then there's just being silly. So, Boof Baton Passes, and yeah, if he goes to Quillfish and scouts for Wild Charge, if he thinks he might get it used on him, then he should go to Diancie. He needs the hazards. I mean, Diancie might want to come in regardless. It does come in, and remember, Diancie has fuckloads of bulk. I think it's attacking stats with Mega, or its defensive stats. So Embor switches out. Here comes S-Cab. Finally, the rocks go up. Now something can happen. Of course, well, Quillfish, I mean, it doesn't like taking knockoff, and Embor is kind of dead from the Specs Tank with the Focus Blast. But I mean, he has some options against it, and I'm thinking it might be Scarf. Well, no, it's probably Scarf Flagon, so it's probably just banned Embor. So I don't see anything wrong with a knockoff here from Mazar's end. I don't think that Diancie would run Protect. I'm not really sure what we're on. Probably like Toxic or Heal Bell plus stabs, or a stab at least. So Quillfish, I mean, if he's got knockoff, then I mean he'll take a knockoff. The most Ex-Cavalier could do is drill run him. And with Intimidate and Quillfish's decent bulk, mainly Intimidate, then he could. I remember when in Black and White when Penguin X was using Quillfish to counter Terrakion. It actually worked. Anyway. So he needs the spikes. He absolutely requires the spikes, and you know, Durant could pose a threat. Of course, he does need Quillfish healthy. Otherwise, late game Sharpedo is going to suck ass. So a drill run or a knockoff or a double to Uxie, I suppose. Either's good, but he can just fire off X Scissors with Durant or even Iron Heads. I guess Embor is still healthy, so he might still Baton Pass, but it's likelier that Uxie stays in than Tangrowth was against Durant before. He might even throw out a T-Wave here. T-Wave would hit everything except Flygon, and Flygon is not the switch in here. Assuming he has it, of course. There's Durant, there's Rocks. So both have Rocks down now. And, well, it's not bad if you X-Scissor Embor because there's Quillfish for spikes. In fact, if he X-Scissors Embor, I would probably debate X-Scissoring again. Of course, there's no real downside to using a fire move, which is why that situation is so hard for Boof. There's nothing really wrong there. And desperation moves, I mean, there's a time, but sometimes they're hard to figure out. Is he going to Baton Pass again? No, he X-Scissors, he hits it this time. Hitting it earlier would have been nice, but that Quad Resist does hurt. So, Quillfish? Do we see Quillfish? I mean, he doesn't really have a way to punish Quillfish hard, except for Tangrowth. And he did switch in Tangrowth to Durant on a double before. So it might be Boof's only shot, but at the same time, it might just be easier to just Flare Blitz and let Tangrowth come in on the Quillfish to fire off Leaf Storm. That's pretty much a kill. So it's hard for Boof, man. I think Mazar should kind of... This is the kind of advantage you don't need to step on a comeback attempt immediately from, since you're advanced. So if I'm him, I just throw out the fire move. I mean, what are the odds that Boof, you know? So my computer is fucking ass, and I disconnected because I knocked it over. I didn't knock it over, but I hit it. So it seems that all we missed was Boof getting dominated some. As Superpower hits Diancie hard, we see a double to Embor on his Cavalier, but it superpowers and hits Uxie, so that so Boof made some nice moves, but then got foiled because he had the useless Uxie to sack, and then Embor was wasted as a result. So yeah, Durant's back. Durant is Boof's, you know, saving grace. Durant and Flygon and Quillfish, they're holding him together against all these threats. Oh man, I bet we see a Durant Ironhead flinch on Embor. And did he double switch? Oh no, he superpowered. Okay, so not X-Scissoring again was right. Although I don't know why he's superpowered. You know, I guess he really wants Quillfish at, you know, really high health, and thus does not mind, and thus he wouldn't mind hitting it even for a little, because Sharpedo preys on chip damage. But yeah, so 188 seconds on the clock for Mazar. He's 4 pokes away from the trophy. He has got what to switch in? Embor, obviously. And I mean, nothing really wrong with just Flare Blitzing, especially with the Reckless. It's going to put a charge in everything. I guess Superpower also had the chance of hitting Flygon trying to resist the fire move, although Flygon resisting such a move is not a good idea unless it's bulked the fuck out, which this is not. There's this Cavalier, which is interesting. I guess he has the freest knockoff I've ever seen in my life, considering the only thing that resists it is, and wouldn't really mind it, is Diancie, which is not this Cavalier switching by any stretch of the imagination. So Boof is looking down and probably out. He's down 5-4, which isn't, you know, score is not always telling, but it kind of makes difference. So Quillfish is in here. We do see knockoff, and that's banded as fuck. So Sharpedo's probably just going to win the game now. I mean, he can get up spikes, which helps and shit, but like... Plus, I mean, this is free entry for Tangrowth unless he, like, poison jabs it. That won't even be close to enough because it's a bulky Quillfish. Maybe not all that bulky, considering, you know, it just took 46 from knockoff. So there's Tangrowth. As spikes go down, kind of... I don't know. Yeah, I think Mazar is going to take this one 3-0. A shame. I was hoping we would go to 5 games, but at least... Well, I mean, the video's already 50 minutes, and it's probably going to end up a little over an hour. So... more spikes, Giga Drain, full health Tangrowth. He can't even OHKO it with Durant, I don't think. And Giga Drain, I mean, we'll kill it back, but it'll fucking hurt like fuck. So, there's Durant, his trusty Durant just fighting through. You know, if Durant can take a hit from Sharpedo, unless it's Hydro Pump, in which case, you know, the game has been over for a while. But, I remember Galbia used that against Joey Pokey MMD and RU, and he missed on a Drapion that he would have killed. Whoops. Anyway. Switching to is Cavalier. I guess he wants the Emboar at full health. No, I don't guess, I know. So, two X-Scissors will take it out. Of course, Durant is operating at 85 accuracy, maximum with every attack thanks to Hustle. But, just how Kevin Durant hustles in the NBA. Anyway, so the miss earlier sucked, but I mean, that's the price of using Durant, I suppose. So, only 4-3 now, but if that is Scarf Emboar, I mean, he's just up the creek without a paddle. I mean, he sacks Diancie here. And at least, unless it's Scarf Emboar, then Durant will be able to cleave through it after, and he might just spam Iron Head for victory. I mean, he's going to need to flinch Tangrowth and not miss, but it's a possibility. So, Diancie, then chase it out with Flygon. You know, this might not be as lost. I mean, it still looks kind of lost, but... Oh, Flare Blitz doesn't even kill. Diancie's fucking bulky, goddamn. Oh, it's leftovers. I didn't even notice that earlier. Goddamn, this is a fuckload. I mean, it also does 0, considering Diancie has like 0 HP. But, yes. Both dudes thinking real hard. Well, I think it's just Boof. Surely the timer hasn't been turned off. God forbid. So... the ban Durant, it could, I mean, remember, special Sharpedo, I mean, it could miss Hydro Pump, so Boof has some ways to win the game, but no, he's going to sacrifice the Emboar, he's going to Rhyperior. Interesting, so that's one less thing for Durant to miss against. Of course, Diancie is kind of slow, so he might be slower than the Rhyperior. If it's, you know, it is offensive Rhyperior and a bulky Diancie, so it could be slower, but I mean... wow. That would still be kind of surprising. He might even go to Flygon. You know, I like Flygon here. I really do. Of course, he could have Ice Punch, and if he uses Ice Punch, then, you know, maybe it's not worth the risk of Ice Punch if they do run it. Because Flygon is kind of a thing. It's a very prominent thing. So maybe it's not worth that risk, especially if Diancie's faster, then, you know, this is all a moot point. But, yeah, he could go Flygon and save Diancie for another sack. So, my computer is awful. But it looks like the Rhyperior Swords Danced, and Sharpedo came in, Ice Beamed, and Dark Pulse, and Sharpedo does clean. So, congrats to Mazar for winning the 4th Grand Slam. And good work to Boo for getting this far, I suppose. Even though that 3-0 finish was kind of, you know, anticlimactic. But the video is long enough anyway, so I'll take it. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.